everyone, I'm JM.
And I'm Cam.
And I'm Quiti, and we're gearheads here at Backcountry.
Welcome to our Gearhead Field Test for the Rab Khroma outerwear collection. We had the pleasure of testing out the Latok and Diffuse jackets and pants over the course of this winter.
We're going to break down some of the key features from the test and let you know how they held up.
And if you'd like to skip around in this video, we have chapter timestamps below. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the Khroma line as a whole. So there's 6 key pillars within the Khroma line: the Latok, the Converge, the Diffuse, the Diffract, the Kinetic, and the Volition. And all of these have jackets and pants. What would you say the use cases are for each and really the ethos behind them? You know, who are they for?
So the Latok is going to be your more ski mountaineering focused part of the line. It's breathable yet robust for the backcountry use. The Converge is going to be more of your pure touring kit. It's got a warm backer to it. It can be used inbounds if needed. The Diffuse is going to be the most versatile piece in the line. It can be used both inbounds and out of bounds. Shoulder season versatility to it.
And then jumping into the Diffract, that's going to be your insulated pieces, you know, for big cold backcountry missions. And then we have Kinetic. Kinetic is your soft, stretchy, super flexible line. Finally, the Volition, protection against those deep, cold winter days.
Would you say that there's a lot of overlap within the line, or does each of the different pillars really excel in the areas in which they're designed for?
It really depends on what your use case is, but each item in the line is going to deliver you that use case. And so whatever activity that you're most interested in, there's something for you within the Khroma line from Rab.
Yeah, for sure. I would say with the 2 that we really tested, which were the Latok and the Diffuse, the Latok totally excelled in a mountaineering environment where articulation was extremely important and being able to move the way that you needed to, depending on the situation.
Yeah, and I think the Diffuse did a really good job at all things. It was a little bit of a lighter weight fabrication. The length of the jacket I really liked, so it had a lot of coverage. So when I was wearing a backpack when we were going ski mountaineering, it still worked. But then I even found myself using it as a rain jacket in the later spring months when the conditions were maybe snowing in the morning and then the temperatures rose and it was raining. So there was that versatility aspect to the Diffuse line.
Totally. Let's talk a little bit about the materials and the construction.
The Latok and the Diffuse kits that we tested most extensively both include Gore-Tex material. The Latok uses a 3-layer Gore-Tex Pro, the most breathable mix between an 80D and 40D fabric solution in the jackets. The Diffuse uses a more all-around recycled 70D Gore-Tex 3-layer construction throughout 100% of those materials. So with that in mind, what does this mean?
I mean, so all Gore-Tex is fundamentally waterproof. From the Diffuse side, I felt that the feel of the jacket was quite light, like while wearing. It didn't really necessarily have that heavy feel to it, so that the mobility was really good. I felt protected all day out in extreme conditions. It was the perfect versatile layer for everything that I was encountering when I was inbounds or when I was doing a backcountry mission.
And yeah, I would say as far as the feel of the Latok, when you pick it up, it feels like it's ready to go on a huge mountaineering adventure. It's extremely lightweight. That 3-layer Gore-Tex Pro obviously works incredibly well in terms of function for both being waterproof and breathable, but is also super, super light. And it feels like this is what I want on if I'm spending, you know, a 12 to 20 hour day in the backcountry.
And I also wore the Latok, and with the lightweight, that doesn't sacrifice any durability. Like, you feel confident packing your pockets with gear, wearing climbing gear, brushing up against rocks when you're going through rappels. Like, that thing is gonna hold its own in the mountains.
And I felt the same way about durability with the Diffuse. I spent dozens of days in that jacket wearing my touring pack on there, loaded up with a lot of gear, and by the end of the season it held up. There wasn't any wear or tear on the jacket, so ultimately the 70D did a really good job at being very robust and burly for all season practicality. Now we're going to talk about fit. Between the Latok and the Diffuse, you guys spent a lot of time on the Latok. How did it fit?
Yeah, I really loved the fit of the Latok. I felt like it was a little more on the roomy side, giving me a lot of opportunity to move the way in which I needed to, kind of more of a free ride feel, I would say. Also gave ample opportunity if I was in the backcountry and needed to throw on an extra layer or even 2 layers. Yeah, had plenty of room to be able to do that. What did you think, Cam?
Yeah, I thought the same. I'm like 5'10" on a good day, 140 pounds, so a little on the smaller side, and I was in a medium, and same impression, like a good, not baggy, but loose enough fit to carry gear and move as freely as I wanted to. I would definitely say that it works with your body. I think you talked about the articulation of some of those fabric panels, and like you feel that when it's fitting you correctly, and so I appreciated that fit.
For sure. I would say it runs pretty true to size. The large fit me just perfect, and that's the size that I'd normally wear. Did you feel the same way about the Diffuse, or what did you think?
Yeah, I'd say that the Diffuse was probably a little bit more of a slimmer fit. Definitely still very like athletic fit. It still had, I would call it freeride fit compared to the Latok. I tried yours on the large, and it is a little bit slimmer.
The Diffuse is a little bit slimmer.
The Diffuse is a little bit slimmer. I took it out on really cold days and had to do, like as you were saying with the Latok, multiple layerings. I had a base layer, and then I had the Rab Mythic Ultra, which is one of my favorite insulated jackets, and it fit fine underneath the Diffuse. And I wore a large. I'm 5'10" and about 175, and it fit great. Again, it was a little bit slimmer, so that's where I found myself throughout the season reaching for it for more of those like athletic output days, where I didn't want something that was a little bit more baggy and rubbing. I just wanted something a little bit more tighter and slim. So yeah, it was great. It was a great fit for me, ultimately.
And I think we're talking about jackets a lot, but we also had the pants, the bibs.
Right, yeah.
So how did the bibs fit?
Yeah, I felt that the Diffuse bibs, in a similar sense of the jacket, was a little bit more of a slimmer athletic fit, which I frankly prefer in my pants. Like I do like a little bit of a baggier fit, so I generally will size up, where maybe I'd be in a medium, but I was in the large, and I really like that. So through the sizing, I still had that slimmer but athletic fit, so I was able to not have friction when I was touring. I had that really good articulation. How did you guys feel about the Latok?
Similar to the jacket, I think it had a little bit of a roomier fit, but still very performance oriented. It's not like your full park kit by any means. Definitely built for backcountry missions. The pants are great for me. Lengthwise, they come down, as you would want, kind of to the boot buckles. There was enough room there that I was, freely moving while climbing or skinning. And I think that also lends to layering super easily as well. I think there's plenty of room within the whole kit for you to layer up or shed layers and not feel like you're wearing a trash bag.
One thing I really liked too, because they run true to size, is they do come with those suspenders, but the suspenders were there as more of maybe like an insurance policy, or like to kind of keep everything together, as opposed to fully relying on the suspenders to keep your pants up. Like the waist fit me absolutely perfect in the large on the Latok.
When it comes to the material construction of both the jackets and the bibs that we were in, what would you say as far as like how that allowed you to move and the fit? Was there any comments on that overall?
I would say in the Latok, again, just for the ski mountaineering aspect, it's just peace of mind. Like I felt like I could use that jacket and just rub up against any rock, any sharp object that was out there. We did, as you'll see in the video, use crampons for one of the sections. And again, to kind of speak to the durability of the pants, there was no time in which I was like, oh, I need to be overly careful that I don't, rub my ankles together because, I'm gonna have issues with the pants. Like the durability is incredible. That was my biggest takeaway.
Yeah. If you're looking for something that is extremely mobile and stretchy, you're probably gonna reach for the Kinetic line. That's where you're gonna get into that soft shell, non-full waterproof construction, but you're gonna gain that mobility, that full stretch mobility. Mm-hmm. But the Diffuse and the Latok, I felt, had tons of mobility, tons of that built-in articulated construction that allowed for that stretch, pseudo stretch, which I thought was great. So we're gonna talk about features. You guys were in the Latok most of the time. You wanna give an overview on the features of the Latok?
Yeah, let's start with pockets. Everybody loves pockets. The jacket has a really nice oversized chest pocket, 2 hand pockets kind of by your hips, and an internal pocket, as well as an actual ski pass pocket on the sleeve if you are choosing to ski this jacket inbounds. And the pants have 2 great oversized hand pockets, again, on the thighs. And carrying snacks, cell phone, other tools throughout the day, like plenty of room to comfortably carry those things. And also they're in a position on the body that makes it easy while you're moving. You don't feel like stuff's banging around.
Yeah, and I didn't feel like any of the pockets interfered with the backpack at all, which is obviously super important when you're ski touring or mountaineering. As far as the chest pocket goes, that's like my go-to snack pocket. I find that if I don't have snacks in the chest pocket, I don't end up eating. So I was really happy that the Latok had ample room in the chest to be able to stuff bars and nutrition. The then hand pockets on the jacket I really liked because I kept just an extra pair of light gloves in the case of, you know, my hands getting wet or anything like that. Or I was also able to take off my mittens or gloves and stuff them in those pockets if I needed to kind of work with the rope system or do anything like that. On the pants, the 2 hand pockets, I don't know about you guys, I typically don't keep too much in those pockets when I'm actually touring, but in transition moments when you're taking a ski strap off your ski or doing something like that, it's really nice to have, again, that extra storage to be able to just stuff something for the time being and then be able to take it out a couple seconds or minutes later and store it away where it's gonna go. How did you like the venting on the Latok?
I thought it was great. 2 big pit zips, underarm zippers, like you would expect from a kit like this. Zipper pulls, easy to grab with a glove on or without. Zippers were smooth. It was very, very beneficial when the sun came out and got warm for us.
Yeah, it was pretty wild to think of how much variation in temperature there was on that day. Like we went from, at least I did, like absolutely freezing at one point and it being super windy to then kind of like being at the top of the first line that we skied and it's starting to become more pleasant. And then by the time we were touring up for, you know, the last line that we skied, it was like broiling hot. So it was so nice to be able to open up those vents and kind of regulate temperature with those.
Right.
Did you use the pants?
Oh yeah, I used the pant vents a ton. What about helmet compatibility?
Oversized hood with kind of your rear cinch strap and collar cinch straps. I have a medium-sized helmet, so typically don't have too many issues with hood over helmet kind of compatibility, but yeah, this helmet and hood setup works super well. Plenty of room, whether you're wearing a helmet or not, to cinch it down as well and give you a nice like wind-tight fit.
I didn't use the Diffuse too much. What were the pockets like on that?
Yeah, so the Diffuse, very similar in its pocket orientation. That chest pocket, which I love to put my phone in, keep the battery lasting super long. I also dump in auxiliary batteries in there to keep it close to my chest, to keep those going for forever. The 2 hand pockets, which I really liked on the Diffuse jacket, talking about the versatility, the pockets are a little bit higher in orientation, so when you're wearing your backpack, they aren't conflicted with the waist belt of the backpack. There was also an internal mesh pocket within the jacket, which I love to throw in my beanie to keep it warm so that when I do need it, I can yank that thing out, toss it on. Also, same thing with the Diffuse jacket. It has very large 2 underarm vents. They're bi-directional zippers and they have those really large poles on them. So when you're wearing gloves, you can grab onto those things, yank them open. You're not like tossing around trying to find the little zipper pole. You've got a big pole to pull on and then you can yank and close them or open them by yourself. You don't have to ask your buddy to like, hey, help me out, unzip this for me. And then from the hood perspective, I did toss it on. At one point because it's a technical ski mountaineering line that we were doing, we were sitting there for a while, kind of in the darkness of the shadow of the mountain. So I had to toss up on the hood, zip it all the way up over my helmet, and I felt protected. It fit super fine. I could move my neck around and it wasn't messing me up. So really liked the minimal feature-rich set that is ultimately not a bunch of extra stuff like slapped on the jacket that I felt was like extraneous. It was really kind of clean, exactly what I wanted in the full features of the pockets on the jacket.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I am a fan of having functional pockets, but I'm not a fan of having zipper pulls hanging off everywhere.
Just dangling, yeah.
The design and placement of these makes sense, makes the jacket and the pants look super clean.
One of the other things that I liked too on the Latok pants were the articulated knees. I found that when I was boot packing and didn't have my skis on, that was a really, really nice feature to be able to move freely. Again, I'm a sucker for reinforced ankle area so that if you're clumsy with the pointies, that you don't get any tears in the pants.
Another feature about the Diffuse jacket that I really liked was the integrated pow skirt. I don't know about you guys, but I really hate when snow goes up. So Really love that feature. It's super stretchy material, so you're able to pull it around and button it up, and it feels like it's really snug, but it doesn't inhibit your movement. It's also removable, so if you're trying to shave weight or you are a fan of powder skirts or you have bibs and those are doing the coverage for you, you can just zip the thing off. The other nice thing about the Diffuse jacket, and I think it's the same for the Latok, is that it has really good harness compatibility in that it ultimately has the pocket orientation where you can put your harness on, the jacket can sit underneath your harness, you can access everything but on your harness without it interfering with the pockets or the function of the jacket. The Latok also has a removable powder skirt. I think it's made of the same material.
Now on to durability. Few questions here just to gauge the performance. First off, how have the kits held up for all of us overall?
Yeah, so I'd say that the Diffuse kit has exceeded my expectations, to be honest. Like, I've put it through the ringer for this jacket to be what we'd call like a versatile jacket where you're using it inbounds and out of bounds. Been using it mostly in the backcountry in primarily ski mountaineering objectives, wearing a harness, wearing a heavy backpack that's full with like a rope and a bunch of extra snacks and food. And it's stood the test of time. Ultimately, it's been extremely durable. I haven't seen any wear or tear on the jacket for a full season's use. There's a little buffing on like the edges near the bottom of the jacket where it's been rubbing up against like the pants, but otherwise, like it looks great, to be honest. The shoulders have managed to stay intact to a really good degree. Been very impressed with the durability of the Diffuse.
JM, you've been running the Latok, and have you experienced any failure points or weirdness? Is it bomb-proof?
I haven't. You know, I used the Latok all winter and was really surprised that at the end of the season, it was looking almost like it did the day that I got it. And so I said, you know what, like winter might be over, but I don't want to stop using this jacket. So I've actually used it on some like miscellaneous mountain adventures, hiked Mount Whitney, and it actually, obviously, wasn't skiing, but it held up great for that too. And so I see this jacket as being one that I'll probably use for years to come. It obviously excels in the skin track and with ski mountaineering objectives, but it's really nice in the sense that you can also grab it for some other missions outside of primetime winter.
Do either of you guys feel like the jacket feels different now that you've skied in it a bunch or used it a bunch? Has it broken in per se, or do you still feel like it feels fresh out of the box?
I'm gonna say it's kind of like a fine line, especially like and in the pants, you know, articulated knees. It's got, the jacket's got really long arms, which is important for me. I feel like the more you use it, the more it kind of, the fabric gets like a memory of your body, which I know sounds kind of weird, but it's accurate. If anything, it just becomes a little bit more comfortable as the fabric kind of breaks in, if you will. What did you think?
Yeah, I felt the same way. I think like Rab deserves a little bit more credit in the ski and snow outer world, especially after using their product for a full season. I think it has stood up to the same degree as other product in the space, and I've been very impressed with the performance after wearing it all season. How about you?
We skied them, we tested them. I definitely not a great repeller yet. Bumped up against some rocks. I was like, ooh, maybe some of my other jackets might be scuffed or potentially ripped from that, and not a mark on the Latok for me. So yeah, I'm impressed with the durability, the fabrics, the materials. Just I think the longevity of the piece it's got years to it, which is exciting to see.
Are there any things about the Chroma line that you guys would provide feedback to the team at Rab in regards to the feature, construction, function, etc.? Like any feedback for the team?
Quite honestly, with the Latok jacket, I don't have any major feedback for improvements. I think that sometimes the only thing that I find annoying is just like collar height. Sometimes collars are too high, sometimes they're too low, which in my mind is a major no-no. I'd rather have it be too tall. With the hood on, I felt that the collar could be a little bit too high, but with the hood off, which I'm skiing 99% of the time, I thought it was the perfect fit. The bibs, again, really hard to criticize. Everything felt and fit super well. Potentially couple additional pockets, like a butt pocket on the back would be fun to have, just for some extra storage. But other than that, the Latok was really dialed. I was really impressed.
Anything on the Diffuse?
Yeah, I'd say the jacket was a slam dunk. I think the way that it was constructed, I honestly think, like I mentioned, that the pocket features on the jacket were, to me, almost perfect. It was minimal, because I like I said, I hate when there's extraneous pockets where I'm like, what am I supposed to put in that, right? Like they were in a very good orientation. I really love the zipper pulls. So to be honest, the Diffuse jacket really gets high marks in my book. Can't really say anything I would say to change about it. On the pants, similar comment. Like I'd say that I typically, against what JM said, is like I like to carry stuff on my legs. So I think maybe finding somewhere on the pants to offer another pocket, maybe on the side of the leg, on the lower thigh, to be able to put in your ski strap or an extra buff or something of the sort, where it's not tucked up against your thigh, so when you're moving, it's in the way of mobility. That'd be my only feedback, but otherwise, I was hyper impressed with the overall function of the product.
Yeah, I'd fully agree on being extremely impressed by the overall package of the jacket and pants. I think I'm a little bit taller than someone that's typically my weight and that's probably wearing a large. And so for me personally, on the pants, if the bibs could have been, particularly just the suspenders, could have been a little bit longer, that would have been nice. But you know, we're dealing with sizable products, and I think Rab did a great job at you know, the sizing working for the vast majority of people that are going to use it, including myself. But yeah, I just would have added a couple inches in length.
Couple inches in length.
Yeah.
For my tall boy JM.
All right, well, that's a wrap on the Backcountry Field Test. Thank you all so much for watching.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like this video.
And if you have any questions about the kits that we tested and reviewed, or Rab in general, reach out to a Gearhead today.
If you have one of these kits, tell us what you like about it in the comments below. We'll see you out there.